Hello guys, this is Leo from Codes and Posters, and today I'm gonna talk about this quote here. Actions always prove why words mean nothing. Right, so how many times in life, like you had a friend and someone close to you that you had like feelings for, and you trust this person, and then this, whatever the reason, the person just say a lot of things, and then in the end of the day, when it comes to actually doing what he says, it's just a bunch of bullshit, right? And people just don't accomplish whatever they want to do, right? Whatever they say that they're gonna do. And I noticed, like in my life, how normal this happens, like how people are flaky, and how people actually say things and don't do and don't accomplish those things that they say that they're gonna do, or they make agreements with you, and then later on you find that they just disrespect the agreements. So this is something like quite much more common than you actually believe that it would be, right? And why is this happening? Like why people is doing this to you and to the others and to themselves? Because ultimately when people are doing this, they're lying to themselves, I think, right? So I think fundamentally this happens because people fundamentally are selfish and lazy, and that's the reality. That's how people, most of them in general, are. And it's because it's the easiest thing to do is to say things like I'm here, like now I'm here like preaching these things, and it's very easy for me now to go to the front of a camera and say whatever I want to say, the most beautiful words for you to listen, and then you're gonna think, oh, he's so nice, he's so clever, smart. But this is nothing, really. Saying doesn't mean anything, and when you say something, it really, in the end of the day, people people still take what other people say in much more serious ways than I think actually they should. And you can look at this through examples in history, through many times where politicians just say things for the sake of saying, and most of the stuff that they say is bullshit. It's just are just promises. And I'll give you the example of Trump, for example, where he said he was gonna build a wall. So where's his fucking wall, right? Anyway, so people say things all the time. People are going to bullshit you, and they're gonna come with their promises and their dreams and everything, and they're gonna say that they're gonna say they have their words, that you can trust their words. Man, so many times I got cheated and I got scammed because I trusted people, Basically, even today, now I did a freelance design project for a guy, and basically he's not paying me, and I already delivered. So you see, even today, I'm making the same mistake of trusting people, right? And this guy in the beginning, this guy was like really nice and really friendly and really like funny, trying to be my friend. Yeah. And then you see that this stuff happens, people, they're just full of shit. So what to do about it? So now that you know that that's how life is and that's how the world is, what you gonna do about it? Are you gonna be neurotic? Are you gonna be paranoid? Are you just not gonna trust anyone? I mean, how do you deal with life, with the matters of life? Because you have to keep living, right? You have to be doing things with people. You have to be working and collaborating with people in your life. If you want to do anything in your life, you're gonna need people for. So how do you keep things in a way that people accomplish what they promise? Honestly, I don't see any other way apart from creating mechanisms of guarantee, right? Mechanisms of guarantee. Like you can either make contracts, legal, like as much as you can. If you can make legal contracts with people, is extremely recommendable and beneficial. Even though sometimes contracts, they even if you do a contract, people sometimes they think they have the right to break the contract, because they see that for each contract always there's a risk, right? For each contract, especially if you're dealing with overseas contracts in different countries which has different legislations, right? These kind of things also doesn't really prevent you 100% guarantee. Nothing has 100% guarantee, right? In life, there's always going to be a risk in life, right? But definitely doing contracts, pursuing legal mechanisms really helps you, and kind of not only helps you but alleviates through a point of view of it kind of gives the formality to the relationship that you're having with someone, right? And if the person is opposed to making contracts, and if it's like a professional relationship or any kind of relationship, honestly, like excluding friendships, but I think for any kind of serious, if you want any relationship to be serious, I think you must have some sort of contract with both parts, where both parts agreed on paper what they say that they want to do, and the exit terms, and it's also very important to have all the things thought out as much as you can. And nowadays on the internet you can get a lot of templates online about contracts, and because you don't want to be like spending all your money with lawyers for every relationship that you're gonna have in your life, right? But yeah, I would say having contracts is the first thing, like really really important. And if you don't see the value in making a contract, the other option would be to have something that bonds the person committed into the relationship, right? So for example, suppose that you are doing a job and that person doesn't want to pay, but you didn't finish the job, right? So it's important also to make these arrangements in ways where you can you can get paid, or you can get, because you see, a relationship is always about an exchange, right? And it's always like, and I notice how easy it is for people to, for relationships to get dysfunctional, to reach a dysfunctional point where you think you're giving too much, and then the person is giving back to you, right? And most of the relationships are like that. Most of the relationships you're gonna face in life, in some points they are gonna turn into dysfunctional relationships. And this happens, I think, mostly because people have different opinions, right? And why people have different opinions? Because people grew up in different environments, in different cultures, with different mentality about things, right? That's why you need the law. You need like the constitution and the law above everything, because people, they just think they're right all the time. They just think that whatever they do or whatever they want, they are doing right. And you gotta be really smart. You gotta protect yourself, because I've been into many situations in my life as a business partner, as an employee, as also in marriage. I've been into really tough situations because of that. Because in the end of the day, when you're having a relationship, and then suddenly you see that the relationship starts getting disconfigured, and you notice that there's like a imbalance in the relationship, and you want to sort things out, and you try to talk, and you try to have a conversation, trying to solve things amicably, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Unfortunately, it's very easy to say, but most of the times it's bullshit and doesn't work, and people are really not willing to compromise on anything. People are selfish, and that's how it is. So you need mechanisms, and especially if you have people who have suffer from narcissistic personality disorder. These people, you're gonna notice through your life that these people, they try to put themselves always in a position of power. Like they try to put themselves, and they manipulate the whole relationship to put them in a position that they can control you, that they own the assets and they own something, and then they have more power on top of you. And this is sometimes, it's just a mental game. It's just a stupid power game. That if that person was smart enough and was not a sick person in his mind, the person would be able to negotiate, right? But unfortunately, with some people, there's no negotiation, right? You have to go to court, and there's no other way. Unfortunately, that's life. That's how it is. So you gotta be really careful, man, about your relationships. I used to be very naive in the beginning, when I started having relationships and serious relationships with people other than friendship. I was like absolutely naive, when I was a teenager, and then also after growing up, completely naive. Didn't read any contracts. Like, for example, I was getting employed, got a job, didn't even care to read the terms and conditions and the contracts of the job. I was completely naive. I just trusted corporations, trusted people, I trusted everyone around me, and life does just suddenly teach you lessons. Life teaches you very hard lessons when you get older and older, and it's so fun, right? It's so cliche, but it's true. You get older and older, and you get like, the older you get, the more beaten you get, right? Like, more life comes to you, and people come to you with schemes and all this bullshit, and they try to make the most out of you, And man, life is fucking hard. That's the truth, If it was easy, everybody would be happy, everybody would be successful. That's not how it is. Basically, life, unfortunately, is a pyramid scheme. People will try in relationships. People will try to take advantage of you. They will not have. There's not going to be fair trade between relationships, in all sorts of relationships, even in love relationships. Sometimes you're gonna meet girls, you're gonna go on dates, and you're gonna see that also most of the times it's gonna be dysfunctional. Most of the times what the girl wants is not what you want, and then you're gonna have to make sacrifices, and she's gonna make sacrifices, and both of you are gonna feel that you're losing something. Both of you are gonna feel that it's not fair. Man, that's hard. No, that's hard. You have to be patient. You have to be willing to negotiate. Sometimes you have to be willing, because you can't always win. That's also something important, I think, for you to realize that in life you can't win all the time. You sometimes win, sometimes you lose, and that's part of the game. And you have to protect yourself as the best you can from people, basically, because I'm not saying to be paranoid, but saying that I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't start any relationship, work relationship. I wouldn't start any without any contract. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. And even like, if you want some, like for example, suppose that you want to have a relationship with some people where you want to live together in a house with friends. Are you gonna make a contract, or are you gonna trust your friends and everything? This kind of things you also have to be very careful. Now you want to put yourself in a situation where you want to carefully revisit all the possible things that could happen in a situation like this. Like, is your roommate, how's the roommate is going to be? Like, is your roommate, how is his routines and his like habits, living habits? How does it work? Because I've been in this situation before, and it's really tough. Like, because you have to really understand how people work and how people think and how people operate, and then don't expect that people are gonna change, because they don't. Like, deep in their minds, like, it takes years for someone to change, and it takes someone to actually a lot of experience, a lot of hard knocks on someone to maybe that person can change. So don't expect that people will change, or don't expect that people are gonna think similar to you. Be very careful if you're gonna get married. Also be very careful with these contracts, because man, relationships is so easy for relationships to get sour. You believe that you know this person, and you believe that this person is something, and maybe the person genuinely is, but time changes someone. Imagine that this person gets influenced by someone else that she meets, or a group of friends, or something happens in the context that you were living, and something just basically is not the way, something that that belongs to the context that you were living, suddenly changes without your control, and then that event makes people also change. So the world is constantly changing. and it can't be otherwise. It's gonna always be changing. So you gotta be really smart. You gotta be really careful. There's another quote that I was speaking about. That is this Chinese proverb: "No man, only fools step twice in the same step twice on the river." Man, forgot. See, I design all these quotes and I forget them after. See how smart I am. Only fools test the depth of a river with both feet. That's the quote. Basically, that quote also has to do with what I'm saying about being careful before starting relationships with anyone, right? Get to know the person first, get to interview and make understandings, make your notes about certain specific things, because and know also, be aware that even if you know someone and you 100% know that person, as I was saying, be aware that this person will change, because you change. I changed. I was not this kind of person. I was not thinking about doing YouTube and designing codes 5 years ago. I had no idea about that. I really never thought I would be doing this. In my mind, I would be in 5 years, I would be somewhere completely different than I am now. So people change. You have to deal with it. You have to embrace it. And sometimes can be really sad, because it's people that you build something together, and it's really it's really fucking painful to see these people that you build something changing and going against you, and you see that you try to change, you try to have conversations and try to come with try to understand that both differences and try to come with terms, but just doesn't work. It's really painful, man, sometimes, and I've been there, and all I can say is reflect a lot and try to find your answers through self-reflection, as I am doing now. That's mostly the reason why I'm doing this project, because life is fucking hard, life is painful, people will disappoint you, even the loved ones, the ones that you thought that would stick with you to the end, they will. Sometimes people just fail. Humans are humans. That's how it is, unfortunately. You shouldn't trust anyone. That's unfortunately the truth. You shouldn't trust anyone, which doesn't mean that you shouldn't love anyone. No. You should love someone knowing that this person in the future might change. And you shouldn't blindly trust anyone and set going into any relationship without having some sort of mechanism where that person will not be able to damage you. That's how life is, that's how reality is, unfortunately. If there's something that human history have taught, if you go through human history and the history of society, if there's something that is taught, that people break the rules. So whatever you think is established is there to be broken, and you're gonna see governments fighting with each other. You're gonna see governments having alliances and breaking treaties and changing their agreements that they once had. You're gonna see this happening in politics. You're gonna see this happening in business, and you're gonna see this happening in your life, in your personal relationships. And I wish I could say something else, something sweeter, that would make you sleep better at night. But man, after all the shit that happened in my life, I can't. So this quote here is for you. Actions always prove why words means nothing. Thank you very much.